Greetings, ghouls and ghoulettes. It's both of us. We're both here. That's the intro. That's what you get. So,
Fine.
That's all.
Fine.
A couple weeks ago, we got to go out and do some filming. It was exciting. And then now we're back on Zoom to talk about it. So half this episode will be on location, and some of it won't be. So it's somewhat different. So we went and we visited Lady Ocalat. She's a witch. She has a shop in Duluth, an emporium, if you will. It's been there for, I think, was it 14 years?
Yep.
I think it's accurate. And we'd never met her before. I don't think either of us had ever been in her shop, correct? Okay.
I think I've been in there once a very long time ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Smells really good in there.
And when I was kind of looking for local, people and places, that was one that it came to mind at some point. And so I reached out to her, and she was awesome. Got back to me, let us come into her shop, and she showed us her wares and told us all about, her life as a witch.
My witch balls here are my newest addition. They're right here hanging in the store. They are protecting from ill fortune. They've got like threads, they're hand-blown glass. For centuries they've been used from Europe to New England. And of course all the different ways to smudge and use sprays, rosins here, some Native American real birch bark. And I have one-of-a-kind jewelry back here from England. I like to have the weird stuff, you know what I mean? That's stunning.
Beautiful.
Yes. Edible soaps, not that you want to, but they're fantastic.
Wait, you can eat those?
They're no petroleum, no anything. They are the best soap in America, it's called. No bad ingredients of any kind. I like to have organic. My candle line, the Blessed Herbals here, are made when the moon is right. And that's why sometimes I'll have to wait a month to get my supplies, because they make them on the full moon. This is the brand here, the Dorothy Morrison, that takes it up a notch, if you know what I mean. You can tell it sucks to be you. You know, candle magic is real, done at the proper time. It's very efficacious. This is my Native American line I'm very proud of. If you've heard of the Thieves Blend, which is now copywritten, this is the Warrior Shield. This was a antivirus, antifungal. Thieves in the Black Plague would not get sick because their women brought them these essential oils. This is the Rose Elixir and the Healing Salve. Balsam poplar buds are brewed in an oil to make this Balm of Gilead, the pain reliever salve. I love old, ancient Native American things. Here's my line of oils, of which I need to make more, obviously. And more witch balls. These are, and I like to do some hoodoo magic too, Santeria hoodoo. These are some of these potions here. The Gopher's Dust, the Black Salt. I even have coffin nails. All of these things, and the voodoo dolls, of course. Graveyard dirt. You could even use wild black bear hair. These are all, if you know how to use them, then you don't ask how to use them. Somebody goes, well, I don't understand what all that's for, then move along.
Touch it.
Just move along. I'll explain it to you if you want to, but the people that do know, have an elderly black lady comes in and goes, bam, 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 bam. She goes, I can't believe you have these things.
That's so cool.
And some of the things like the destroyer oil, and some of it is just to kind of stir up the energies so no one can hurt you. There's a lot of very mean-spirited people that want what other people have. Mm-hmm. They don't want to earn it themselves, they just want to destroy your life. Mm-hmm. So that's what those things are. All of my books and all of my cards are geared towards that kind of self-therapy. Ooh, I look like I sold a few things here. And I've got the cauldrons, and I've got the little dishes for you to put your crystals in. That right there, we skipped right over the crystal display here. Gemstones, crystals have properties. They're like little children. Maybe one of your kids is a violinist and the other knows how to make things grow just by touching them. You want to give them an assignment. You don't just carry a crystal and expect it. You have to tell it what to do. They don't tell you that. And then, of course, the Book of Shadows and the journals here that you could write your witchcraft journey on.
I think my favorite part of being in the shop, other than getting the reading, which was fun, was walking around and having someone like Lady O, tell us all about the things that she sells in her shop. I mean, all of the things for witchcraft and potions. There was like bear hair there, and what else? I mean, there was all kinds of interesting things that you would cast spells with and stuff.
Yeah, all sorts of, books and candles and, like you said, hair and for, different voodoo. It sounds weird when you say it. Yeah, go into her shop and buy some hair, but it all had, when I say it like that, but it all had purpose. Some of it, we don't know. We might
and her
never
answer
know.
was, if you don't know what it's for, then you don't have any business buying it, type thing. She had those cool witch balls. Those were neat. You bought a goblet and some candles. I bought a super cool little cauldron.
Mm-hmm.
All the books. She had clothes in there. She had all kinds of, and she knew like all about the different, she was excited about the things that she was selling in there, and they went along with, I think just her and general. So that was really neat. That was my favorite part, was talking to her about her shop. Yeah,
it was nice to get a tour. I mean, it's a small place. You could go in there and look around, but when somebody takes the time to show you, things and point them out and say, this is what this is why it's important. That's
absolutely.
That's a lot better than just stumbling in there and thinking, oh, look at all this wild shit. So
yeah. Another cool thing that we learned from her was that her brother is a Bigfoot hunter, and we need to track him down and maybe have him take us out looking for Bigfoot, because I think that'd be pretty badass.
Agreed. Absolutely.
Yeah. So Lady O's brother, if you're watching, we're going to come find you, hopefully, maybe. And we'll go bear hunt. Or wait, Bigfoot hunting. Or we can bear hunt too.
Finding him.
Bring her some hair.
Finding him should be easier than finding Bigfoot. So
yeah,
we have a chance.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to, what was your favorite part of being down there?
I would probably say the tour as well. I mean, no, I guess just listening to her talk about, growing up in, being born a witch, basically, into a family of witches, and, growing up like that, and discussing, her craft and the things that she believes in. Because I haven't met any witches like her. I've probably met a few people in my lifetime who were into Wicca, or maybe like to say they were a witch because they, listen to Joy Division and wear fishnets. Yeah, they watched The Craft too many times, and they bought a few candles and a black dress, and now they're a witch. And
now they're a witch, right? No, but she was legit like born into this, and spent her life cultivating her craft.
I am not a Wiccan. I'm a witch. Wiccan is the religion of the witches that says harm none. Well, I have bent that rule a few times. I brought down a level 3 sexual predator on the range. When it comes to children and animals and the elderly, I'm not following any rules, because it's just, I believe in justice. And then nothing happened to me, so I was okay. Well, the law of 3,
So I read on your website that you've been a witch all your life.
It's called familial. We're
familial.
We're the Dickey women from, it's Scots Irish. And back, Laura Dickey was our ancestor, and this is generational. My mother was phenomenal. She dressed as the old witch for Halloween. We had a haunted mansion. I mean, really, it was haunted. And kids would come, they'd bus them at the high school, and one bus at a time to come. It was the place to go. So our whole lives have been, my brother is you can see right up there's my brother. He's been on Monster Quest. He's a Bigfoot researcher.
That's so cool.
And he's been on Ancient Aliens and Monster Quest. The whole family, my sister, the rune reader, my mother was a palmist. You just kind of cleave to these things. And we went to school with the hats and the gloves and the long, like practical magic.
Fantastic.
You're
Yes.
like, what? Everyone's underdressed.
That's who I am.
But
Yeah.
we also went on like May 1st with May baskets for everyone. What's this? Well, you're supposed to do this. Little treats and chocolates and cookies and little lace doily, and people are like, well, we didn't get, that's okay, it's all right, it's our way. It's our way. And then, of course, I like to have anything that clinks and bumps your head when you're walking. I love that. I think
Those
I'm
are great.
part raven a little bit, you know what I mean? And also the preoccupation
what you're
with
saying.
skulls. Just think about this. This is a good example right here. Oh, this is macabre. No, it isn't. Think about before you could take a picture. Let's say your husband passed, heaven forbid. And he died, and his body was bleached in the sun, or maybe burned as they sent the ship out. You retrieved his skull, bleached white and bone picked by the birds, and you would lovingly carve into that symbols that mattered to you. And that was your memory of him. There were no photos, there were no books,
so
there were
cool.
anything. That was the essence of your loved one. And not macabre at all,
No.
given the context
Sure.
of it. And so what I like to do, I guess it's maybe a little selfishness, I like to surround myself with the things that I am. And
I love that.
people like it. Because guess what that is? Being authentic.
And Crystal, you had a reading combined with it was like the first part was just a regular reading, and then there was tarot cards involved after.
Yeah, so the beginning, we sat down and it was very COVID friendly. She had a plexiglass barrier between us, which was considerate and nice. And then, yeah, she just sort of started in with general reading, and then we morphed into the tarot cards, and I liked that part.
And
You hear that squeaking? You hear that squeaking?
Yeah. And so we already decided we're not going to put any of the reading. We filmed a little bit of the reading. We're not going to put it into the video. It's more of a kind of a personal thing. But had you ever had anything like that before?
I had a tarot reading once before, and I liked that. That was my favorite part of it, I think, was the cards and getting, my tarot read. I don't really know anything about tarot readings or anything like that, so I just sort of listened to what she had to say, and it was a cool experience. I would totally do it again.
Of course, I have forms of divination. What's a form of divination? The tarot reading I did for you, or palmistry, or here's another one, the pendulum mat with the pendulum.
Oh.
These are yes/no questions only, and they're you can use them like an oracle. And so everyone should have at least one. Even the coin toss on the football game, that's oracle. Scrying into glass, you're not going to see Auntie M in there. Well, you might. But it might cloud over. And then what happens is, let's say I was going to scry inside this. Set the stage, candlelight, the music, no words. In the music, can't be words. I would focus on that. You see how it's hand blown, how it traps the negative energy? Look at that. Amazing. The roots in there. Traps evil spirits, ill fortune. It captures them in the interior here. It's mesmerized by the glass, so it goes inside and it's trapped inside there. So I just like to give people tools to use, and it's worked. And made
So
a
you've been
really
here
good living.
14 years.
Yes.
Wow.
Had a party every year for everybody. I give away free food, and everybody gets a prize, except last year.
Well, sure.
We're hoping to do it again.
Yes, yes.
And like I said, I have the books too. This is the workbook. This is called, which is called this Bucky's Big Blue, and this would be the spirit version. Rune magic. That's another form of divination, and you know, some of the best-selling ones here. The Truth of Wicca, people will get this book to maybe show somebody. And I have a lot of people whose families may not understand. Most of it's ignorance, preconceived notions before, you know, like Stanton Friedman, the nuclear physicist, rest in peace, said these people, these debunkers don't confuse me with the facts my mind's made up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I already hate this,
Predetermined.
so don't tell me
Right.
it's good, right?
Yep.
I believe in the truth at all costs.
Me too.
And we're living in a day and age where I'm witnessing the death of the truth.
It's so
And it's
sad.
okay with a lot of people. They're fine with it. It's not okay with me
Me neither.
at all. So that's about it. And then I have the charcoal. This is the stuff you would put, like you would put a little sand in here. And you would put one of these, they're little discs. There's actually quite a few of them. And you'd put that in there and light it. And it would sparkle and turn to ash, and that's what you would put your spell mixes on, or your sage, or your palo santo, or your, you know, your powders, you know, to make your own incense, not just the joss sticks like this. I mean, certainly you can buy incense like that, but you can grind and make your own.
Yes.
And if you do that, you want to have one of these for culinary and one for the stuff that's poisonous,
Sure,
like
right.
hemlock and patchouli and things like that.
Now we talked to her about, like I said, just her life as a witch in general too. And when we were kind of researching her website before we went down there, we kind of found out too that she offers a whole lot of services. Paranormal investigation and exorcisms, you know, being some of the other ones. So I think some of the more interesting stuff that still sticks with me from being there was the Exorcist and paranormal type stories. Absolutely.
The exorcism story, I'll never forget that. That was intense.
That was good. Do you think you've ever met anybody who's done an exorcism or that sort of thing before?
No.
I can't say that I have either. So that was very interesting. I've watched videos of what are supposed to be real exorcisms that, I mean, I could take them or leave them.
Right. Me too.
So it's interesting to hear somebody right in person, you know, kind of tell you a story.
Well, and I thought her answer when we asked her, how did you become an exorcist, was fascinating, because she didn't go and get trained. She just sort of trained herself to be an exorcist.
Yeah, correct. Because I think 100% of the time, if you start talking about exorcism, people think that like the Catholic Church is somehow involved. You know, either it's done through a priest or training, but there was none of that. You know, with her background.
And so, you know, I don't have the problem of, doesn't it make you mad when they depict witches with the hooked nose and the flying? No.
Yeah.
I got that crap at home. I love all that.
Yeah, totally.
Like, why should I, you know, the haggy witch?
All the colors of
I
the
don't
rainbow.
take it personally.
Sure.
That's stupid. I mean, like, get a spine. It's fun.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Are there any misconceptions
Tons of them.
that do bother you, or ones that you think are the most problematic?
Well, people will come in with like, I heard, and I say, stop. I said, whatever you heard is wrong. You're not supposed to buy your first tarot deck. Or I heard that Ouija boards were evil. No, they're cardboard. I collect them. I actually have, if you can step back here.
Yes.
Of course.
You can see, they did a story on me, right here, on my boards. It's not a toy. Yeah, it's not a toy. But it's not evil. It's
Right.
another form of divination. I actually have a 1914 fold.
Oh,
It's
wow.
got the actual,
Look at that.
and there's another one there that's honey oak, that was found buried in the
Oh,
earth.
those are beautiful.
These are old, and every church basement had one. After the Spanish flu, the other viral pandemic of 1918,
Right?
and so many people died, millions. It was not in our history books. I didn't learn it in high school. Only when I was out of high school. This wasn't told. It was too horrible. They vowed never to tell. Every family lost loved ones.
This country likes to whitewash history.
Yes, take it
Pretend
down,
it
tear
didn't
it down,
happen.
don't talk about it. So the ladies in the basement would work the boards to contact their loved ones. And it was perfectly acceptable until Exorcist movie.
Oh, really?
That was the turning point where she worked a board and Captain came through, or whatever his name was.
Captain Howdy.
Captain Howdy, you know, Captain Howdy. What was her name?
Reagan.
Reagan, yeah. What a great actress.
Yes.
Linda
totally.
Blair,
Linda
yeah.
Blair. Oh, I sold my badass knife. Look at this bad boy.
Holy cow. Wow.
And you know,
That's amazing.
The witch's tools, the athame is the dagger, the ceremonial dagger you pull energy down. This is just a bigger version of it.
Okay.
Like when my brother does ritual, he's almost 7 feet tall and he pulls a broadsword like this. It's like, what the heck?
Wow,
Yeah,
that must be some sight.
we would be hitting the ceiling with that one.
Absolutely.
But yeah, there we go.
So on your website, you talk about that you're also a trained exorcist.
Yes.
How does that?
Well, I thought about that years ago when I was called. Sometimes you find yourself, as my brother, he didn't start out wanting to be a Bigfoot investigator. He had a body shop. Gets a call, we need somebody to cast this print. Well, he's got body putty, so he's like, I guess it's me. So for me, I'd get these calls from people, just come out and see. Okay, holy. I was burned on the hands, marked on the back, choked. We've had investigations, the flies would come all over me, and it was where you feel like your heart's being squeezed. I trained myself in the protocols of self-control in the face of these energies that are very awful. Not everything like these shows are demonic, that's ridiculous. But there are some low-level entetic energies, some very powerful ones, and they're drawn to dysfunction. And they're drawn to abuse. And they will collect around that and magnify that and compel that. And they can take place in a, like the energy of place, a house or a haunted artifact. That's real common.
Have you come across that?
Oh yeah,
Like,
oh yeah. We are Lady Ocalat's Paranormal Investigations. We call ourselves Lopi. Anything you can think of. We were sitting at a table. Had our cell phones. The guy couldn't stay in his place. Took his dog and his son. I'm not going there. We met him in a bar. This is up north. I won't say where.
Okay.
Gave us the keys to his house. We can't go home. Get rid of it. Came in. He had security cameras up and everything. I said, I know what this is. This is a sexual demon. And a bad one. We sat at the table. Without being too graphic, and I don't know how graphic I could be. Can I say anything?
Say
All
whatever
right,
you
I'll say
want.
whatever I want to.
Yeah.
My husband's sitting here, my brother's sitting here. My brother's name is Bob, husband's name's Bill. My phone lights up. Billy wants head. Bobby doesn't deserve head. On the phone. He's a witness. Right on the phones. It's a black screen with white writing. And my brother kind of, whoa, I said, just keep it together. Don't. As it tried, it hated me. Called me all kinds of names. And I said, that's it? I don't like the shows that, what are you? They want to provoke it on.
No.
But it's theater. It's
Right.
TV.
Right.
So but I did say to this, is that it? That's what you are, because that doesn't work with us, and we're not stopping. You don't belong here. Come to find out, and when I met the guy, when he handed me the keys, he's a witness, in the parking lot, I said, are you full of a rash down here? He goes, how the hell you know? I said, you're covered in a kind of you've broken out down here all over your genitals, haven't you? Yeah, it was bad. He'd been putting up with this. The dog wouldn't go in the house. And so he had been looking at some not so great porn. And not that you look at porn, you resurrect a sex demon. That's not how it works. Every guy would be screwed.
Right.
Right? No, it's not about that. But he was addicted to it. And there was dysfunction. His kids were split in a marriage. It was, see, these things usually are a stew. It's a recipe. It's not one thing you screw up and a demon's got you. That's not how it works. They need energy and they need to be fed. And if you're feeding them, you're going to get it. And so that's what this was. And so trained myself by how I was needed. I thought I could go by the Romany exorcism script, you know, I cast you out. I'm not a Catholic, you know, so I did my own, based on who I am.
Right.
And which you won't find anywhere.
No, it's one of a
And
kind.
so to exorcise something means to remove it, and that's what I do.
That's great.
And that's usually not one session, but I can do it. There, if it's really bad, that's really bad. A lot of times I will tell the person, you know, you're feeding this. You're actually feeding this energy. Or sometimes people, I'll tell you something that really upset me, was I know some people that are on a team, and they were coming into a haunted hotel, and they signed a waiver so that the team could do this paranormal investigation. A lot of teams go to this place, apparently.
Is this here in town? No.
And I won't tell you where, I don't want to out anybody.
No, sure.
But the waiver said, you will not cross any energy over.
How do you stop that?
So what are you saying? There are beings trapped between the worlds and we're just going to do shits and giggles here?
Right.
And get a reading on our meter, but we don't want to sign the paper that you're not going to cross them over.
Right. How do you stop
I think you would sign a waiver that you do.
Right.
Are we helping them, or is this just a sideshow?
Right. Yep.
That's like the monkey in the cage, isn't it?
Yeah.
I found that horrific.
That is horrific.
And so just for entertainment's purposes, what are you saying about these spirits? You've dehumanized them if they ever were human before. To me, that's sickening. You know, if a spirit or an energy can be crossed over, then they should be allowed to cross over. Not kept captive for the shits and giggles of some team. Sorry, I have spoken. I don't mince words. That's another thing about being a witch. You don't. And then you end up with the friends you should have, not the ones you think you do.
That's true. So can you tell us about your paranormal, okay, you had a name for it. The
Lopi.
And can you tell our viewers what that stands for and tell us a little bit about your team?
Well, Lady Ocalat's Paranormal Investigations, my hubby and me.
Oh.
And we had a third girl too, Rona
Yep.
kind of kept us apart.
Okay.
He is the tech guy. And we have the K2 meter, the Gauss meter, we have the ghost box, we have all the gigas and the tools, you know what I mean? And then wherever I come in, and Fox News, Brittany Merlot,
Yep.
and Vicki Main, we did a series of shows around Halloween a couple years ago.
Was one of them at the depot? I saw that.
Help me remember, we did the depot, we did the boat, the Meteor.
Oh, the William A. Irving?
And No Pemming.
Yep.
The Raspberry House.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
It's a haunted
okay.
mansion. Wherever and when we were on the
Oh, we
boat.
also did a thing for going postal.
Oh yeah, their place. But I mean, what was on TV for Fox?
Oh, yeah.
And so, where I go, stuff happens, and it happened live on camera. Unlike the shows on TV that are edited down, you know, maybe 200 hours gets edited down to what you see. We're live, uncut, that's it.
Shit's gonna happen.
And so we're on the bridge of the ship, and the bells start ringing.
Oh, wow.
And so he went out with Vicky. There's no clanking wire, clanking on a pole outside or anything. And the guy giving the tour is like, and they go, "Did this ever happen before?" No, not this. No, that's a first, yeah. And it would happen like that everywhere we
Wow.
go, would be these, where we went to Nopeming, I said, I hear old time music. You could see Rick, the other paranormal, he goes, I hear it.
Wow.
You could see and hear what I was seeing and hearing. And they'd go, has that happened? And the woman goes, well, actually, the tour guide goes, yeah, that was down this hallway. Then I said, I'm getting this bam, 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 bam. And I'd go, I don't know what it is. I left it alone, and it's on camera. Bam, bam, bam. The guy that killed, it was a Mother's Day thing, shot that many times.
Oh, no.
And so I didn't know any of that.
He shot 4 times and killed 4 people, and the 5th one was he shot himself.
At Nopeming?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
This is well known. It's
I'll
come
have
back
to-
I had no idea, and I like to come in cold, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
that's
We
good.
researched it after the fact.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it was like,
That's
oh my
what brought
God.
all the
Oh,
info.
wow.
And it feels like you've got a Dixie cup with a string. And they just, whoever's leading me, I just have to follow the string.
Oh, sure.
And they love to tell their story. They love to, at the depot especially, where a couple guys, one guy lost his arm, his shirt. The guys used to have a song they'd sing when they rolled up, and then they'd have a thing that buttoned it, those old tiny
Yep,
shirts. But you don't want to get your sleeve caught in the gears, and he didn't do that, and his arm got pulled in.
Ooh.
And I didn't know this at the time, but one of the other gentlemen on the investigative team had just had a bad diagnosis about a relative.
Oh.
And this person I was channeling, and I hate that word because there's so many frauds, but what
Oh,
the heck,
sure.
that's what I was doing, said, you and me will have a shot later, you know what I'm talking about. And he looked at me, he met me out in the hallway and said, I was going to tell you this, but the guy did. The guy got it. So the recipe for fraud exists. How do you verify who I am or not? I guess the proof's in the pudding. You either like the experience or you don't.
Right.
Nobody's forcing you to do anything. And so, because there are a lot of charlatans who just want such an easy, quick path without doing the work
Sure.
or the knowledge or anything. And they exist. You know, because they got a sparkly headdress or something they put on, and then they're suddenly Queen Maeve or something.
Sure.
And that's okay too, but it demeans what's really going on. I think this is the decade where we really do discover that these abilities exist and these energies are around us. It won't be laughed at anymore.
Good.
And we'll just be kind of ahead of our time.
Yes, that's
Like a
wonderful.
lot of things. Well, they said the Wright brothers couldn't get the plane up either, and
Well,
nobody's gonna fly.
Right, if you look through history, I mean.
Oh, we're all
that's
like that.
Exactly.
And science, because science, excuse me, but science has cocked itself millions of times, you know, getting it wrong, till they got it right. Well, there can't be any life because there's no water. What if they're not a water species? Jesus
Right.
Christ, don't explain this to you. God. No, they gotta be bipedal. They do? No, they don't. You know how long it would take for somebody to fly from Mars to here? What if it's a black hole? What if it's a wormhole? What if space bends in on itself?
Right.
Light is not a constant.
No.
It's not
Talking
anymore.
multiverses and the string theory and all that fun stuff.
Got that
Yeah,
right? That's my game right there.
Yes,
That's what
I love that.
So you don't just say something can't be true because of our limited knowledge of it.
Absolutely. I agree.
That's what's wrong with a lot of things. Well, I don't know that, so therefore
No.
it's wrong.
We're a speck on the.
Yeah. Yep.
on
So
the-
I stand for something, I think. After this amount of time, I'm like the Witch of Duluth.
I love it. You are, absolutely.
And the Good Witch of Duluth. So people have, and one woman said to me, you know what you've done to this area? We have our own witch.
No, I love that. That's so great.
And we have, I'm everywhere. When it was 2012, I was on with Dan Hanger because he said, I feel better, Lady O, because the world isn't going to end. Fox News comes in here with their cameras all the time. Before
Oh,
the world.
wow. Okay.
Like, are we going to die? What is,
Right.
what, is this
Yeah,
going to hit
what's
us?
up?
You know, I got this.
Yes.
It's like,
Yeah.
sort of like the go-to for any kind of
I
weird
love
crap
that.
could
That has
happen.
to feel good, though. That, you know, to.
Well, it does. You could be known for a lot worse things.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Oh, that's so true. Yeah.
Another story that I really liked was talking about when she first opened the store and the different types of protesters that she got, you know, and just the people who would show up and you know, disagree with what was going on, even though they definitely didn't understand anything.
And I think that's the biggest thing is people, you know, they don't understand, so but it was cool how she handled it. She would go out there and talk to them and like bring them cookies and things like that, and just sort of try to show them that she's really not a scary person. It's fine.
So it just seems typical to me that, you know, if you open up a store like that in a decent sized city, then, oh, here comes the religious nuts and we gotta shut down this before all the kids turn into Satan worshipers and are doing crimes and and then so yeah, that was I wasn't surprised.
No, and she's obviously endured. I mean, 14 years later, she's still going strong. So.
Can you tell us about when you first opened up and what the reception was like around town? Was Duluth a welcoming place?
I have to honestly say, I had a few frothing at the mouth, mostly guys, Bible thumpers, which I would grab my Bible and go out and read with them. I know the passage, I know right where it is. They hated it. I'd offer them water because they were screaming so loud out in the hallway. And I said, you know, you're kind of bothering the other business over here. And they'd go profane on me. Well, the police love me. You probably can see I've got Haas and Luna, the 2 police dogs that died in the line of duty, and the police horses. I love our police officers and our military. I'm very much about that. So, all of a sudden, my guys, the police come, and they're like, what's going on, Lady O? I said, can I see some ID? Well, I have to show you, this is a public property. Well, actually not, because you're sitting in the window well, and that's store property. So the kid showed his ID, and he was in the National Guard. And the cop goes, yeah, I'm going to place a call to your leader here. He freaked out. They grabbed the IDs and ran. That was the end of that.
Oh, God.
There was no more. Once there was accountability, they froze in the headlights.
That was that.
And that was the first couple years. There was Mr. July. That was fun. That was about the first 2 years. He surfaced like Global Village. He'd go down and get into Rachel, the pretty fairy princess, you know, with the red hair.
Right.
Get into her face. And anybody that was doing imports from Africa or India or anything that's foo-foo stuff, you know, get in their faces. And so here he comes, Mr. J. It was like he couldn't do it in the winter. He just surfaced in July. So I don't know where he went. He probably moved out of the area or something. But after that, they started coming, and Lutheran women with their little crosses and their sisters. And I told my mother about you, and she's coming. And I started out 1 day, then 2 days, then 3 days of readings, and more and more and more. And I'm sort of legendary now. And I say, I don't have to sell myself. It's like, just look at the reviews. And I have one bad one. Not of my reading, because I raised the price on my candle wine.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No, because I'm that way. Bitch. I'm a badass, yeah, take a look.
You're a badass.
Yeah.
I agree.
Prices go up from the wholesaler, what are you going to do?
That's the way it goes.
So I left it. I left the review, because it kind of speaks for itself. It's like, I'm not going to change the playing field just to look good, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I'll leave it in there. Everybody's got the right to their opinion.
Sure.
So now she just looks like an idiot. So,
Yeah.
which is,
Let that
I'd
stand on
rather
its own.
she did it herself. I don't have to.
Absolutely. You have to do it. You do that yourself.
So did you learn anything new that was surprising to you after speaking with her?
I mean, in some ways it was all new to me, just because, like I said, I've never met any, you know, serious witches of the craft. You know, all my ideas, and I know when I watched 100 movies with witches that's not what a real witch would probably be like or anything like that. But, you know, I can't sit here and say that my research into what an actual real life witch is about, that's not something I've done.
Can you tell us little bit, you're a practicing witch.
Yes.
So what exactly, well, you don't have to be exact, but what sort of thing does that entail?
Well, I'm a third degree high
Third degree, yes.
priestess of the craft. I have taught, I've initiated too. What it means for me is to keep my words in good order, keep my thoughts in good order. That doesn't mean you can't drop the F-bomb.
Oh, that's my
But
favorite word.
of course, thank you. You're related. See, my mother said, I don't care how many times that comes out of your mouth.
Yeah.
A lie is far worse.
1,000,000%. I agree.
And gossip is black magic. It's horrible. And all young women do it. And they connive. Have never done that in my life. I don't have the gene.
Right.
The jealousy, conniving gene. There's men, women, and me. I don't know what the hell. You know what I mean? It's like I just didn't get the formula.
Good. Yeah.
And so I like to have things to empower people. Because a witch takes personal responsibility if things screw up or go great. That was me. Really? Yeah, I did that. Wow, take credit, damn right. Got no problem with that, did it all myself. Well, it takes a village, not in this case. And so when stuff goes bad, yeah, that was me. I won't do that again. That backfired big time. So you're just admitting it? Yeah, because I did it. Sorry. And apologizing. That's the strongest you'll ever be, is to do that. I like my sprays and things like that too. Take you from one state to another. And that's the first step. If you're unhappy with how you are or how you're reacting to things, change it. Don't use someone else as the reason. Well, the reason I'm this way is you did. No. We can learn to respond and not react. That's what a witch does too. There's a lot of people that say they're a witch because they've got black gloves like this.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't do the trick.
Or spandex pants.
Right.
Or they've carved a cross onto their arm or something. That doesn't. You don't have to be properly initiated. You can just teach yourself at home. And
that was the
you're equal.
question.
You are equal. There's no superiority. I may be third degree, but I'm equal to every other witch.
Okay.
They are not here and I'm
Right.
here. That's not it.
That's
You
not it.
respect the teachers, you respect the ones with knowledge, of which I have plenty, but we're not better witches, you see. You can have a person that just came into it, like a newbie, they call it, just as equal, just as much
very
to be
cool.
respected. And the thing about the craft is, it's called the craft of the wise,
Okay.
because you have to be brave to live in the truth. But when you eliminate the things you've used as excuses, it can be rough. And so you go through these first, second, and third dark nights of the soul where you're forced to kind of say, geez, I was a jerk. It was me that caused that friendship to break up. See, because think about your life where you take personal responsibility for everything you've done. That's what being a witch is, or what it's supposed to be. Now, I know a lot of people that are teaching and may not do it my way. I don't care.
Yeah.
Everybody's
one
coming
great
from
way to
their...
do it.
Yeah.
You do it
and you never stop learning.
No.
That's the other thing. It is like, well, all done. No, ever the student. Always wanting to aspire.
So you teach classes.
I do when it's not the Rona.
Right, when it's not the Rona.
When it's in here, I usually line the chairs up.
Sure.
And I teach first and second degree. I initiate.
Okay.
We had a tarot. What beauty of the building is, it's a locked building. I would have a big table out in the hallway there and do my tarot workshop out there.
So do you do that do you have a set class and then people can go sign up, or is it all like inquiring?
No, they sign up.
So that you have set classes.
Yeah,
Okay.
maximum of 10
Sure.
for the tarot workshop, which is, I'll have you reading the tarot by the end of the first class.
That's so cool.
We'll do it out of the major arcana, but you'll understand how to thread it together, and I don't overwhelm.
That's awesome. You did have that. That's great.
I just don't like to overwhelm people with my bastion of knowledge, which a
Right.
lot of teachers do, and they're wrong to do that. They basically overload the student with their brilliance. That's a bad teacher.
Right. I agree.
The teacher that gives everyone an F, I'm not looking at the kids being dumb, I'm looking at them going, what's your problem?
Right. So how long is a class structure, I guess.
Well, the tarot workshop was like 4 or 5 weeks.
Oh, perfect.
And
That's
so
great.
like a couple hours each, and
then you could go home
then
and
assign,
practice.
yep,
Yep.
assignments, and then we come up with different scenarios to do, and then people will sit across and read for each other.
I love it.
And everything's open, and any concerns that you have, and then they say, can we bring treats? And yes, as long as there's enough for everyone.
Yes.
So then when you graduate people, there was actually the casserole that plugged in, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta have the tater tot.
You gotta have it, right?
Yeah, it's like this much
Minnesota.
food. You're like, oh, I brought casserole. And like a side of beef, you
Yeah.
know. It's awesome. It's witches, you know. We love
Right.
to eat. Yeah, so I usually do that, and I probably will again once this virus gets a little bit under control. Because I
Yeah.
like to teach.
Right,
And
absolutely.
I like to show people, you know, and then their way. That's the thing. There was one student one time, and actually two, but one loved patchouli oil. Well, I love patchouli oil. And she said, you told us to express ourselves. Well, I come home to my grandma. In other words, her grandma was raising her. And I loaded up with patchouli. My grandma hates it, and she's allergic to it. And I said, you're a bitch.
Yeah.
What? I said, you're a bitch. Your grandma hates it, and the class is like, oh, God, I don't care.
Yeah, no.
I said, what an asshole.
Yeah.
I said, she's allergic to it, so you load up on it?
No.
Well, I have the right as a witch to be a dick?
Yeah, no, let's not do that.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Our rules aren't, we, you know, supplant everything else. You don't spit in someone's face just to be you.
Right,
I said, that's a jerk move.
that is.
I gave a spell assignment for the last class. You know, you write up a spell, and some have charts and markers and, you know, fold out laser pointers. One girl said she just laid on her back and put her grandma's ashes in the water. I said, that's
Oh,
beautiful.
that is beautiful.
This was how long I've been teaching classes. One of my students said, I want to do a spell to kill George Bush. Yeah, I want to kill. I said, well, that's a fail. And then I said, what's your second spell?
Yeah.
Well, I want it to snow year-round. And I said, okay. So Edna with severe arthritis and just her joints hurt and
Yeah.
burn, and you're going to give her that hell 12 months out of you? I don't care about her. I said, get out. Get out of my class.
Yeah, good.
I'm not initiating your
No.
sorry ass.
No.
So there's a few, that's it. That everyone else is really wanting, and there's that word again, to aspire. They're wanting to be, and they know they're different. They know they've been different. They've thought different. They've felt different things. They've been empathic and intuitive, and maybe drawn to crystals and herbs, and like to run barefoot outside, you know, and howl under the moon and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
There's a haven for those people.
Right.
And they usually possess a kind of eclectic skill.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? I can. And so then there's different ways. I always say, because some people come in very passionate and they'll have a dozen books and they got them all open and they're marketing and highlighting. Just stop.
Yeah.
One book at a time.
Right.
Don't overload yourself. You'll still be here. The craft will be here. But
Take
it
it
is,
in, just
and
take it
people
in.
in prison, a lot of men will cleave to Wicca because it is. You
What
don't-
exactly is Wicca?
Wicca is the
The
religion,
religion.
of the
Okay,
witches.
you said that
See,
earlier. It is. Okay.
all Wiccans are witches, but not all witches are Wiccan.
Okay. So there's different
The
religions.
thing that defines it is, bide the Wiccan reed, ye must, in perfect love and perfect trust. These 8 words the Wiccan reed, which is law, fulfill. And ye harm none, do as ye will. And never mind the rule of 3, what ye send out comes back to thee. Follow this in mind and heart, and merry meet and merry part.
Oh, thank you.
Give her that.
That's
And so
awesome. Thank you.
my morals and my integrity bide the Wiccan reed.
Okay.
But I've bent it, like Harry Potter, kind of just bent some things.
Yeah.
a little
Right.
bit.
Yeah.
Where there's like, I'm not walking away if I'm right here and you're gonna hurt somebody. I've pulled people out of burning cars. I've run down purse snatchers. I have, I was a lifeguard, saved people
And the
from.
purse snatchers was on high heels.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, my husband go, oh, here she goes
Here
again.
she goes.
Because you
Right
look
back up.
around and there's nobody else and you're like, it's gotta be me.
Yep,
you know?
So-
And
yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. So responsibility, integrity, the way I do it, accountability, personal accountability, and I don't hold other people to my standards. I just don't associate with them. My standards aren't based on how much money they have or how they look. I don't care about that. Or what their education is, could care less. It's their heart. They can't be cruel, and they can't be mean and a gossip, or not aspire. Just, or be continually bitching about their lot in life without any reason or methodology to fix it. I can't do that anymore. Used to. I'll help you. I'll save you. I don't do that anymore.
Right. Well, that's all the footage we have from our tour and visit with Lady Ocalat. Hopefully you gained some knowledge about witches and Wicca and big ass swords and sex demons and Ouija boards and all the things that we talked about. Stop into her shop and go in there and meet her. Talk to her. I'm sure she'll tell you some stories if you tell her you saw this episode. Check out the candles. Buy yourself a big bag of bear fur if you know what it's for. If not, don't fucking buy that. Buy something else, okay?
Yeah.
That was the point of the whole video, wasn't it? Yeah. All right. That's it. Go to the store. Go do the things. Go meet a witch. We did it. You should too.